Did you know that Marie Curie's notebooks are still radioactive today, more than 100 years after she wrote in them? This fact alone speaks volumes about the groundbreaking nature of her work. But there's so much more to her story. In this video, we'll uncover how a young girl from Poland became the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different fields. We'll trace her journey from a country struggling under foreign occupation to the pinnacle of scientific achievement, revealing the personal sacrifices and unwavering dedication that made her a legend. In the late 19th century, Warsaw was a city under the iron grip of the Russian Empire. It was here, on November 7, 1687, that Maria Skłodowska entered the world. The Poland of her birth was a far cry from the independent nation it had once been. Divided and conquered by its powerful neighbors, the country struggled under foreign rule, its people yearning for freedom and self-determination. Maria's family, the Skłodowskis, were no strangers to the challenges of life in partitioned Poland. Her father, Władysław, was a respected teacher of mathematics and physics, his passion for science a beacon of intellectual curiosity in a time of cultural suppression. The Russian authorities, ever vigilant against Polish nationalism, had implemented strict controls on education and language. Polish history and literature were forbidden subjects, replaced by Russian equivalents in a bid to erase the country's distinct identity. Despite these obstacles, young Maria's mind blossomed. Her father's love for science proved contagious, and she often found herself poring over his books or assisting him with simple experiments. The Skłodowski home became a sanctuary of learning, where the wonders of the world could be explored, free from the oppressive atmosphere outside. But life in Warsaw was far from idyllic. The constant threat of arrest or deportation loomed over those who dared to resist Russian rule. Many of Maria's relatives had suffered for their involvement in the January Uprising of 1863, a failed rebellion against Russian control. These family stories of sacrifice and resistance instilled in Maria a deep sense of Polish pride and a determination to overcome adversity. Tragedy struck the Skłodowski family when Maria was just 10 years old. Her mother, Bronislawa, succumbed to tuberculosis after years of illness. The loss was devastating, leaving Maria and her siblings in the care of their grieving father. As if this blow wasn't enough, Maria's older sister, Zofia, died of typhus just 2 years later. These early encounters with death shaped Maria's emotional landscape, teaching her the harsh realities of life and the importance of perseverance in the face of overwhelming sadness. The economic situation in Russian-controlled Poland was dire, and the Skłodowski family felt the pinch acutely. Władysław's teaching salary was meager, and he struggled to provide for his remaining children. Maria learned the value of frugality and hard work, traits that would serve her well in the years to come. Despite their financial hardships, education remained a priority in the Skłodowski household. Maria excelled in her studies, her natural intelligence honed by the challenging circumstances of her upbringing. As Maria entered her teenage years, the political climate in Warsaw grew increasingly tense. Russian authorities cracked down on any perceived signs of Polish nationalism, arresting dissidents and closing Polish-language schools. The Skłodowskis and their fellow Poles lived in a state of constant vigilance, careful not to draw unwanted attention from the occupying forces. Yet even in this atmosphere of fear and oppression, Maria's curiosity about the world around her continued to grow. She devoured books on physics and chemistry, subjects that offered a glimpse into the fundamental workings of the universe. These early forays into scientific thought planted the seeds of what would become a revolutionary career, one that would change our understanding of matter itself. In the late 19th century, the path to higher education for women in Russian-occupied Poland was not just difficult, it was non-existent. Marie Curie, burning with an insatiable desire for knowledge, faced a stark choice: abandon her dreams or find a way to defy an entire system designed to hold her back. Undeterred by the obstacles before her, Marie forged a pact with her older sister Bronislava that would shape both their futures. The sisters' plan was as ambitious as it was risky. Marie would work to support Bronislava's medical studies abroad, with the understanding that Bronislava would later help Marie pursue her own academic aspirations. To fulfill her end of the bargain, Marie took on a demanding position as a governess for a wealthy family in rural Poland. Life as a governess was far from easy. Marie found herself isolated in the countryside, miles from the intellectual stimulation she craved. Her days were filled with long hours of teaching and household duties, leaving little time for her own pursuits. The emotional strain of being separated from her family and the familiar streets of Warsaw weighed heavily on her spirit. Yet even in these challenging circumstances, Marie's determination never wavered. After her charges were asleep and her duties complete, she would retreat to her small room, where she would study late into the night. By the flickering light of a candle, Marie taught herself advanced mathematics, delved into the principles of physics, and explored the fascinating world of chemistry. These stolen hours of learning were her lifeline, keeping her connected to her dreams of scientific discovery. During this period of self-imposed exile, Marie experienced a brief but intense romance with Kazimierz Zurawski, a young mathematician from a well-to-do family. Their shared passion for numbers and scientific inquiry sparked a deep connection. However, the rigid class structure of Polish society soon intervened. Kazimier's family, disapproving of Marie's modest social standing, put an end to the relationship. This rejection was a painful blow, leaving Marie with a lasting sense of the unfairness of social hierarchies. Yet, true to her resilient nature, she channeled this disappointment into an even stronger resolve to prove her worth through academic achievement. The political climate in Poland during this time only added to Marie's challenges. The Russian authorities maintained a tight grip on education, viewing it as a potential source of Polish nationalism and resistance. The teaching of Polish history and literature was forbidden, and the use of the Polish language was restricted in schools. This oppressive atmosphere served as a constant reminder to Marie of the importance of her quest for knowledge, not just for herself, but for her country. As the months turned into years, Marie's sacrifices began to bear fruit. Bronislava successfully completed her medical studies in Paris, opening the door for Marie to pursue her own education abroad. The prospect of studying at the prestigious Sorbonne in Paris, where gender barriers in education had begun to crumble, filled Marie with excitement and trepidation. As Marie stepped off the train in Paris in 1891, the bustling streets and towering buildings of the City of Light overwhelmed her senses. The stark contrast to her rural Polish home was immediately apparent, but Marie's dedication burned brighter than ever. She had come to Paris with a singular purpose: to pursue her passion for science at the prestigious Sorbonne. The reality of life in Paris, however, quickly set in. Marie found herself living in a cramped, unheated attic room, far from the comforts of home. Financial hardships became her constant companion, forcing her to subsist on a meager diet of bread and tea to stretch her limited funds. Yet, these challenges only seemed to fuel her resolve. At the Sorbonne, Marie threw herself into her studies with an intensity that set her apart from her peers. The lecture halls, laboratories, and libraries became her second home as she immersed herself in physics, mathematics, and chemistry. The male-dominated environment of the university did little to deter her. If anything, it spurred her on to greater heights of achievement. Marie's self-discipline was legendary among her classmates. While others socialized or rested, she could be found poring over textbooks late into the night, her candle burning low as she wrestled with complex equations and theories. Her single-minded focus on her studies was not merely about personal achievement, it was a testament to the opportunity she had fought so hard to obtain. The challenges Marie faced extended beyond the academic realm. As a foreign student, she grappled with the nuances of the French language and the unwritten rules of Parisian academic culture. The competitive environment of the Sorbonne was a far cry from the supportive atmosphere of her family home in Warsaw. Yet, Marie's resilience shone through as she adapted to her new surroundings, her determination never wavering in the face of these cultural barriers. Despite the obstacles, Marie's exceptional talent and dedication did not go unnoticed. She began to develop a network of fellow students and mentors who recognized her extraordinary abilities. These connections would prove invaluable in the years to come, providing both academic support and personal encouragement during her most challenging times. Marie's hard work bore fruit in 1893 when she earned her degree in physics, ranking first in her class. This remarkable achievement was soon followed by a second degree in mathematics. These accomplishments laid the foundation for her future groundbreaking work in radioactivity and set the stage for her emergence as one of the most influential scientists of her time. Marie's academic triumphs were just the beginning. In 1894, a chance encounter would spark a partnership that defied the norms of both science and society. While searching for laboratory space to conduct her research, Marie was introduced to Pierre Curie, a physicist already making waves in the scientific community with his groundbreaking work on crystallography and magnetism. Little did they know that this meeting would not only change their lives, but also revolutionize our understanding of the physical world. From the moment they met, it was clear that Marie and Pierre shared a deep passion for scientific discovery. Their connection went beyond mere professional interest. It was a meeting of minds that would soon blossom into something much more profound. Pierre was immediately struck by Marie's fierce determination and brilliant intellect, qualities that set her apart in the male-dominated world of science. For her part, Marie found herself drawn to Pierre's gentle nature and unwavering dedication to his research. As they began to collaborate, their professional relationship quickly evolved into a personal one. Pierre saw in Marie not just a capable scientist, but an intellectual equal, a rarity in the scientific circles of the time. He recognized her potential and believed wholeheartedly in her abilities, offering unwavering support for her ambitions. This mutual respect and admiration formed the foundation of their partnership, both in the laboratory and in life. Initially, Marie was hesitant to pursue a romantic relationship. Her focus had always been solely on her scientific goals, and she was wary of anything that might distract her from her work. However, Pierre's steadfast belief in her and his commitment to supporting her aspirations gradually wore down her reservations. He understood that Marie's dedication to science was not just a career choice, but an integral part of who she was. In 1895, Marie and Pierre tied the knot in a simple ceremony that reflected their modest lifestyle and shared values. In a testament to her practical nature and dedication to her work, Marie chose to wear a dark blue dress for the occasion, one that she could later use in the laboratory. This decision symbolized the intertwining of their personal and professional lives, a union of hearts and minds that would prove to be extraordinarily fruitful. Their marriage was built on a foundation of equality, with Pierre treating Marie as a true partner in every sense of the word. This dynamic was revolutionary for its time, changing societal norms and paving the way for future generations of women in science. Together, they created a harmonious balance between their personal relationship and their scientific pursuits, each supporting and inspiring the other to reach new heights. It was this unique partnership that led them to embark on a scientific journey that would change the course of history. Intrigued by the mysterious phenomenon of radioactivity, recently discovered by Henri Becquerel, Marie and Pierre began their collaborative research into this new field. Their combined expertise and shared passion for discovery would soon lead to groundbreaking findings that would reshape our understanding of matter and energy. The Curie's partnership was more than just a remarkable scientific collaboration. It was a profound love story that defied the conventions of their time. Their shared dedication to unraveling the mysteries of the universe brought them closer together, creating a bond that was both intellectual and emotional. As they worked side by side in their modest laboratory, they pushed the boundaries of scientific knowledge, driven by their mutual curiosity and unwavering support for each other. As the Curies delved deeper into the mysteries of radioactivity, they stumbled upon a discovery that would not only revolutionize science, but also became a powerful symbol of Marie's heritage. In 1898, while investigating a peculiar radiation emitted by uranium, Marie and Pierre Curie discovered something extraordinary, an element 400 times more radioactive than uranium itself. Their journey of discovery began with pitchblende, a mineral known for its high uranium content. However, Marie noticed that pitchblende emitted far more radiation than could be explained by its uranium alone. This observation sparked a relentless pursuit to isolate the unknown substance responsible for this intense radioactivity. The Curie's laboratory was far from the modern facilities we imagine today. It was a converted shed, poorly ventilated and lacking proper equipment. Marie often worked in harsh conditions, stirring heavy cauldrons of pitchblende over open flames. The physical toll was immense, but her determination never wavered. Through painstaking experiments and meticulous analysis, Marie separated the components of pitchblende. She employed a technique called fractional crystallization, which involved dissolving and recrystallizing the material repeatedly. This process allowed her to concentrate the radioactive elements, gradually isolating them from the rest of the mineral. As they neared their breakthrough, the excitement in the makeshift laboratory was palpable. The Curies worked tirelessly, often late into the night, their efforts illuminated by the eerie blue glow of radioactive materials. Finally, in July 1898, they announced the discovery of a new element, polonium. The name polonium was a bold statement of Marie's pride in her Polish heritage. At a time when Poland was still under foreign rule, divided between Russia, Prussia, and Austria, Marie seized the opportunity to bring global attention to her oppressed homeland. This act of scientific naming became a powerful political gesture, reminding the world of Poland's cultural and intellectual contributions despite its lack of independence. Polonium's discovery marked a pivotal moment in the history of science. It was the first element to be identified through its radioactive properties, opening up an entirely new field of study. Marie Curie herself coined the term radioactivity to describe this phenomenon, forever changing our understanding of atomic structure. The implications of this discovery extended far beyond the realm of chemistry. It challenged the long-held belief that atoms were indivisible, paving the way for a new understanding of matter and energy. The concept of radioactivity would soon revolutionize fields as diverse as medicine, energy production, and even our understanding of the Earth's age. For Marie, the discovery of polonium was more than just a scientific achievement. It was a testament to her resilience and determination. As a woman in a male-dominated field, she had faced numerous obstacles throughout her career. The harsh conditions of her laboratory and the physical demands of her work would have deterred many, but Marie's passion for science and her unwavering spirit drove her forward. The Curie's discovery of polonium was just the beginning of their groundbreaking work in radioactivity. In December 1898, they announced the existence of another new element, even more radioactive than polonium. This element would come to be known as radium, and its discovery would fundamentally change the scientific landscape. Isolating radium proved to be an immense challenge. Marie Curie undertook the Herculean task of processing enormous quantities of pitchblende, the mineral from which uranium was extracted. In a makeshift laboratory, little more than a converted shed, she worked tirelessly, boiling down ton after ton of the heavy black ore. The process was grueling, involving countless hours of grinding, dissolving, filtering, and crystallizing the material. As they delved deeper into their research, Marie began to notice a curious phenomenon. Some of the materials they worked with seemed to emit a faint, otherworldly glow. This eerie luminescence, coupled with the intense radioactivity of the substances, would soon capture the imagination of both the scientific community and the general public. It was during this period that Marie coined the term radioactivity to describe the emission of energy from unstable atomic nuclei. This concept would become the foundation for an entirely new field of physics, opening up vast new areas of scientific inquiry. Unlike polonium, which remained relatively obscure, radium's brilliant glow and intense radioactivity quickly captured global attention. Scientists were fascinated by its properties, while the public was entranced by its seeming magical qualities. This widespread interest would later lead to both beneficial and harmful applications of radium in various industries. The discovery of radium had far-reaching implications across multiple scientific disciplines. In medicine, it sparked a revolution in cancer treatment. Doctors began experimenting with radiation therapy, using radium to target and destroy cancerous cells. While these early treatments were often crude and dangerous, They laid the groundwork for modern radiotherapy techniques. In the field of physics, radium provided new insights into the structure of the atom. Its radioactive properties challenged existing theories about the nature of matter and energy, paving the way for advancements in nuclear physics and our understanding of subatomic particles. Despite the potential for enormous profit, Marie Curie made a decision that would define her legacy as much as her scientific discoveries. She refused to patent the process for isolating radium, believing that scientific knowledge should be freely available for the benefit of all humanity. This decision, while limiting her personal wealth, ensured that research into radioactivity could progress unimpeded by commercial interests. Marie Curie's groundbreaking work in radioactivity had already earned her respect within scientific circles, but the Nobel Prize would catapult her to international fame and change the course of history. In 1903, the scientific world stood on the brink of a revolution. The Nobel Committee was about to make a decision that would challenge the status quo and ignite a global debate about women's roles in academia and research. The Nobel Prize for Physics in 1903 was initially intended to recognize only Pierre Curie and Henri Becquerel for their work on radioactivity. However, Pierre, recognizing the crucial role his wife had played in their research, insisted that Marie's contributions be acknowledged. This act of support from her husband ensured Marie's rightful place in scientific history and set the stage for a momentous occasion. When the announcement came, it sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Marie Curie had become the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize. This achievement was not just a personal triumph for Marie. It was a symbolic victory against the societal norms that had long excluded women from positions of intellectual authority. The Nobel Prize Committee's decision to include Marie alongside her male colleagues signaled a shift in the perception of women's capabilities in the sciences. Despite the global acclaim and attention that followed, Marie remained characteristically modest and focused on her work. She viewed the Nobel Prize not as a personal accolade, but as a testament to the importance of scientific discovery itself. This humility, combined with her undeniable brilliance, only served to enhance her reputation and inspire others. The recognition brought by the Nobel Prize had practical benefits as well. The Curies suddenly found themselves with increased funding and resources to expand their research on radioactive elements. This influx of support allowed them to delve deeper into the potential applications of their discoveries, paving the way for future advancements in fields ranging from medicine to energy production. Marie's achievement resonated far beyond the confines of the scientific community. It sparked conversations about gender equality in education and professional fields across the globe. Young women who had previously been discouraged from pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics now had a role model who had reached the pinnacle of scientific recognition. Marie Curie's success challenged the deeply ingrained belief that women were intellectually inferior to men or unsuited for rigorous scientific work. The impact of Marie's Nobel Prize win extended well into the future. It opened doors for subsequent generations of women in STEM fields, inspiring them to pursue their passions despite societal obstacles. In the years that followed, more women entered scientific professions, gradually changing the face of research institutions and laboratories around the world. However, it's important to note that Marie's path to success was not without its challenges. Even after winning the Nobel Prize, she continued to face discrimination and skepticism from some quarters of the scientific establishment. Yet, her unwavering dedication to her work and her groundbreaking discoveries consistently proved her critics wrong. Just as Marie Curie reached the pinnacle of scientific recognition, tragedy struck at the heart of her world. In 1906, Pierre Curie's life was cut short in a devastating traffic accident on the streets of Paris. The sudden loss of her husband and scientific partner left Marie reeling, faced with both personal heartbreak and professional uncertainty. Yet, in the face of overwhelming grief, Marie Curie demonstrated a resilience that would come to define her legacy. Rather than retreating from the scientific community, she challenged her sorrow into her work, finding solace and purpose in the laboratory. This period of intense focus and dedication would prove to be a turning point in her career, transforming her from one half of a renowned scientific duo into a trailblazing individual researcher. In a groundbreaking move that challenged the gender norms of early 20th century academia, Marie Curie was offered the professorship at the University of Paris that had previously been held by Pierre. This appointment made her the first woman to hold such a position at the prestigious institution, marking yet another significant milestone in her journey of breaking barriers. Taking on this new role was no small feat. Marie now faced the daunting task of balancing her responsibilities as a widowed mother of 2 young daughters with the demands of her research and teaching duties. The public scrutiny that came with her elevated position added another layer of pressure to an already challenging situation. Despite these obstacles, Marie remained steadfast in her commitment to scientific discovery. She threw herself into continuing the groundbreaking research on radioactivity that she and Pierre had begun together. This work became both a tribute to her late husband's memory and a means of pushing the boundaries of scientific thought even further. Marie's ability to maintain her focus and productivity during this period of personal turmoil was a testament to her extraordinary dedication to science. Her laboratory became a sanctuary, a place where she could immerse herself in the pursuit of knowledge and find respite from the emotional upheaval of her personal life. As she pressed forward with her research, Marie began to make discoveries that would surpass even the remarkable work she had done with Pierre. Her individual achievements during this period solidified her status as a scientific powerhouse in her own right, no longer defined solely by her partnership with her late husband. The strength Marie displayed in the wake of Pierre's death went beyond mere resilience. It demonstrated a profound commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and the betterment of humanity through scientific advancement. Even as she grappled with personal loss, she never lost sight of the broader importance of her work and its potential to impact the world. As Marie Curie stood on the precipice of scientific immortality, a storm of controversy threatened to overshadow her groundbreaking work. The year was 1911, and Curie was about to shatter expectations once again. Her relentless pursuit of knowledge had led her to isolate pure radium, a feat that would earn her an unprecedented second Nobel Prize. This time, the award would be in chemistry, recognizing her independent contributions to the field. The scientific community buzzed with anticipation. Never before had an individual been awarded 2 Nobel Prizes, let alone in different fields. Marie Curie's work had not only expanded the boundaries of scientific understanding, but had also opened up new realms of possibility in nuclear physics and medical treatments. Her research on radioactivity was paving the way for future advancements in radiation therapy for cancer, a legacy that would save countless lives in the decades to come. However, as news of her impending Nobel Prize spread, so too did whispers of a scandal. Marie's personal life had become fodder for the French press, who eagerly sensationalized her relationship with physicist Paul Langevin. The media frenzy was fueled by a toxic mixture of sexism and xenophobia, with many questioning whether a woman, and a Polish immigrant at that, deserved such high honors. The attacks were vicious and relentless. Newspapers printed salacious stories, twisting Marie's professional relationship with Langevin into a tawdry affair. The public scrutiny was intense, with some calling for her to decline the Nobel Prize. Lesser individuals might have buckled under such pressure, but Marie Curie's resolve was as unshakable as the atomic structures she studied. In the face of this adversity, Marie made a bold decision. She would travel to Stockholm to accept her Nobel Prize, standing proudly before the scientific community as a symbol of intellectual excellence and resilience. Her presence at the ceremony was a defiant statement. Science transcends prejudice and personal attacks. As she stepped onto the stage in Stockholm, the weight of history rested on her shoulders. Marie Curie's acceptance of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was more than a personal triumph. It was a victory for women in science everywhere. Her unwavering dedication to her work, even in the face of personal tragedy and public scandal, demonstrated that scientific pursuit knows no gender. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. Marie Curie had not only become the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes, but had done so in the face of overwhelming adversity. Her achievements in isolating radium and discovering polonium had revolutionized the field of chemistry, laying the groundwork for a new understanding of atomic structure and radioactivity. Yet, even as she accepted this highest of scientific honors, Marie remained grounded in her commitment to the greater good. She had famously refused to patent the process for isolating radium, believing that scientific knowledge should be freely available to all. This selfless act ensured that her discoveries could be used to advance medical treatments and scientific research without restriction. As the world plunged into the chaos of World War I in 1914, Marie Curie found herself at a crossroads. The Nobel laureate, who had dedicated her life to unlocking the secrets of radioactivity, now faced a new challenge: how to apply her scientific expertise to save lives on the battlefield. Curie's response to this call would not only revolutionize wartime medicine, but also cement her legacy as a humanitarian and pioneer. Recognizing the urgent need for better medical diagnostics on the front lines, Curie conceived the idea of mobile X-ray units. These compact, transportable machines, affectionately dubbed Little Curies, would bring the power of radiography directly to wounded soldiers. No longer would critical diagnoses be delayed by long journeys to distant hospitals. Instead, field medics could quickly identify the location of bullets, shrapnel, and fractures, dramatically improving treatment outcomes. But Curie's involvement didn't stop at invention. She personally drove these mobile units to the front lines, navigating through war-torn landscapes and braving the dangers of combat zones. Her presence on the battlefield was a rarity. Few women were allowed such direct involvement in wartime operations. Yet Curie's expertise and determination made her an invaluable asset, transcending gender barriers in a time of crisis. The impact of Curie's work extended far beyond the mobile units. She established over 200 radiological units in military hospitals across France, creating a network of advanced medical care that significantly improved soldiers' chances of survival. These facilities brought cutting-edge technology to the gruesome reality of trench warfare, offering hope where there had been little before. Curie's leadership during this time was nothing short of extraordinary. Recognizing the need for trained personnel to operate the new equipment, she took it upon herself to learn the intricacies of X-ray technology. But she didn't stop there. In a move that would have lasting implications for women in science, Curie trained over 150 female technicians to manage the X-ray machines. This cadre of skilled women not only contributed to the war effort, but also paved the way for greater female participation in scientific and medical fields. The conditions under which Curie worked were often perilous. She frequently found herself near active combat zones, exposed to the same dangers as the soldiers she sought to help. Yet she refused any special treatment, driven by a deep sense of duty and compassion. Her dedication was so complete that she even attempted to donate her Nobel Prize medals to support the French war effort. Though the French government declined this offer, recognizing the symbolic importance of her achievements, this gesture spoke volumes about Curie's character and priorities. Curie's wartime efforts showcased a different side of scientific pursuit. Here was a woman who had reached the pinnacle of academic achievement, now using her knowledge not for further accolades, but to directly save lives. Her work during World War I demonstrated that science could be a powerful force for healing and hope, even in humanity's darkest hours. As the world emerged from the shadows of war, Marie Curie's scientific passion burned brighter than ever. The 1920s marked a new chapter in her life, one where she would transform her hard-won knowledge into a lasting legacy. No longer content with merely pushing the boundaries of science, Curie set her sights on shaping its future. In the heart of Paris, a new beacon of scientific progress began to take shape. The Radium Institute, founded by Curie, would become a crucible of innovation, attracting brilliant minds from across the globe. Here, in state-of-the-art laboratories, researchers probed the mysteries of radioactivity, seeking to unlock its potential for the betterment of humanity. But the Institute was more than just a research facility. It represented Curie's vision of science as a collaborative international endeavor. Within its walls, scientists from diverse backgrounds worked side by side, sharing ideas and pushing each other to new heights of discovery. This spirit of cooperation would prove instrumental in advancing the field of nuclear physics and revolutionizing cancer treatment. One of Curie's most significant contributions during this period was her role as a mentor. She took a personal interest in nurturing the next generation of scientists, particularly young women who face significant barriers in the male-dominated world of academia. Among her protégés was her own daughter, Irène Joliot-Curie, who would go on to make groundbreaking discoveries of her own. Curie's influence extended far beyond the laboratory. She became a tireless advocate for scientific education and research funding, crisscrossing the globe to share her knowledge and inspire others. In 1921, she embarked on a historic journey to the United States, where she was greeted with enthusiasm by scientists and the public alike. During her American tour, Curie met with President Warren G. Harding at the White House, a testament to her international stature. But perhaps the most touching moment came when she was presented with a gram of radium, a gift funded by donations from American women who admired her pioneering spirit. This precious substance, worth $100,000 at the time, would prove invaluable in furthering her research. Despite her growing fame, Curie remained focused on her work. The Radium Institute quickly established itself as a world leader in radiation research, pioneering new techniques for treating cancer. Curie and her team developed methods for using radioactive isotopes to target and destroy tumor cells, laying the groundwork for modern radiation therapy. As the decade progressed, the Institute's influence continued to grow. Researchers there made significant contributions to our understanding of atomic structure and radioactive decay. Their work would prove crucial in the development of nuclear physics, setting the stage for further breakthroughs in energy production and medical imaging. Throughout this period, Curie battled ongoing health issues, likely the result of years of unprotected exposure to radioactive materials. Yet, she refused to let her declining health slow her down. If anything, it seemed to fuel her determination to leave a lasting impact on the scientific world. In her role as a scientific leader, Curie championed the cause of international cooperation in research. She believed that science should transcend national boundaries and political differences. This philosophy would prove prescient as the complex challenges of the atomic age would require unprecedented levels of global collaboration. By the 1930s, the invisible enemy that had been Marie Curie's constant companion throughout her scientific career began to make its presence known. The very elements she had dedicated her life to studying were now taking their toll on her health. Years of unprotected exposure to radioactive materials had slowly but surely compromised her body's defenses. Marie's symptoms were a stark reminder of the hidden dangers lurking in her groundbreaking work. Fatigue crept into her bones, weakness sapped her strength, and her once sharp vision began to blur. Yet, in true Curie fashion, she refused to let these ailments dampen her scientific spirit. Her dedication to research remained unwavering, a testament to her indomitable will. Despite her declining health, Marie continued to be a force in the scientific community. She attended conferences, sharing her knowledge and insights with colleagues from around the world. At the Radium Institute, she mentored young researchers, nurturing the next generation of scientists who would carry her work forward. Her presence in the laboratory, though physically diminished, still inspired awe and respect among her peers. In these twilight years, Marie Curie made her final, significant contribution to the scientific literature. Her work further illuminated the complex nature of radioactivity and its far-reaching applications in medicine and physics. This publication served as a capstone to a career that had fundamentally reshaped our understanding of the atomic world. The year 1934 brought a grim diagnosis that would shock the scientific community. Marie Curie was found to be suffering from aplastic anemia, a rare blood disorder. While the connection between radiation exposure and such illnesses was not yet officially recognized, those close to Curie couldn't help but draw the tragic link between her life's work and her failing health. As summer dawned that year, Marie Curie's remarkable journey came to an end. On July 4, 1934, at the age of 66, she passed away in a sanatorium nestled in the French Alps at Saint-Clément. The world mourned the loss of a scientific pioneer, a woman who had twice changed the course of science and broken countless barriers along the way. The legacy of Marie Curie's work lives on, not just in the annals of scientific history, but in the very objects she left behind. Her notebooks, her cookbooks, even her furniture remain radioactive to this day, requiring special handling and storage. These everyday items serve as a poignant reminder of the invisible dangers Curie faced in her relentless pursuit of knowledge. Marie Curie's life story is one of triumph and tragedy, of groundbreaking discoveries and personal sacrifice. Her work revolutionized our understanding of the atomic world and paved the way for countless medical advancements. Yet, the price she paid for these advancements was steep: her health and ultimately, her life. This stark reality underscores the often overlooked sacrifices that lie behind great scientific leaps. In her final years, even as her body failed her, Marie Curie's passion for science never wavered. She continued to believe in the power of knowledge to improve the human condition, a belief that had driven her from her earliest days as a student in Paris. Her resilience in the face of physical decline serves as an inspiration to scientists and non-scientists alike. Marie Curie's journey was one of brilliance, resilience, and groundbreaking discovery. From a determined young girl in Partitioned Poland to a two-time Nobel laureate, her work reshaped science and medicine forever. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Marie Curie's extraordinary life, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories about history's greatest minds.